The word gentleman comes from Old French. Gentilhomme means a man who is not a dynasty member but is authorized to bear arms. It derives from the Latin word gentilis. It means noble of the same lineage or noble lineage. It's a word left over from humanity's backward and undeveloped times when lineage was exaggerated. Edmund Hall's 1607-1031 defined a gentleman as an innate quality. Many of the intellectuals of the period also had such misconceptions. However, since Pierre Bourdieu, we know the details of the effects of cultural capital on human life and are far from such nonsense. It has to do with the symbolic separation of a minority of people with ancestry, property and money from the masses and the unquestionable legitimization of property ownership. The real problem, however, is that there are large masses of enslaved people who believe this. The fallacy of lineage superiority is similar to the fallacy of racial superiority and has no scientific reality. In the 17th century, the bourgeoisie rationalized its belief that the concept of a gentleman was innate. It elevated it above titles such as knighthood, dukedom, and barony, which the king distributed. The bourgeoisie aimed to spread a new culture of chivalry in return for the symbols distributed by the king. With the dominance of the bourgeoisie in the world, the ideas of bourgeois class dominated the whole society. The concept of chivalry came to represent people with good manners, who had the symbols of the bourgeois world, who represented the bourgeoisie with their behavior and body language, and who had the money to be educated in the inequalities of capitalism. The 19th century communist ideals included the right of all people to education and, in accordance with the principles of equality, the goal of making everyone a cultured person. The goal was to make all people gentlemen, to introduce them to urban culture and to interest them in science and art. Considering the rapid increase in literacy, the opening of dozens of libraries in every city and the abundance of educational programs on television, the Soviet Revolution achieved this despite all its shortcomings. The Anatolian equivalent of a gentleman is Chalabi. Chalabi is thought to be a title born from the calendarism movement that influenced Anatolian mysticism from the 12th century until the 17th century. Chalabi is also one of the titles in Bektashism and Mevlevism. It's not related to property ownership like the gentleman in Western culture, but to the endeavor to attain knowledge, science and maturity. Moreover, Chalabilik is not born and cannot be earned. It's a phenomenon related to effort, labor and experience. Thank you for watching. I wish you all days full of health.